Today we're going to be talking about 3 fan-made products as made by the artist CloakingArbiter over on Etsy. Links in the comments and description below. We will be talking about the UFO and the UFO power blast effect, and we will be talking about the Millennian. The UFO, when stood directly straight, will be slightly over 6 inches tall. The Millennian, when stood up, will be over 5 inches tall. And the power blast effect, or shoulder cannon effect, whatever you would like to call it, will be over 7 inches tall when stood up on the base as well. Up first, let's take a look at the UFO. The UFO in the movie, or giant UFO, Millennium UFO, whatever you'd like to call it, it was very much just this silver turd in the sky. And I genuinely believe that CloakingArbiter really captured that. And even though this thing is without a lot of major details, where it does have details, it's quite impressive. I mean, this whole port area over here, just look at all the little sequential lines and the little bumps on there. This looks really, really good. I wonder if Bandai could do this with vinyl. Somehow I doubt it. But that's just me goading Bandai into doing a Godzilla 2000 collection for the movie monster series. The only other major detailing we're going to get on this thing is going to be the shoulder cannon, or the nose cannon, the nasal cannon on this guy. Go figure, when you have it like this, it looks like an athletic supporter. And when you look at it straight on, it looks like you're looking at a space nose about to fire some Sequoia Banshee boogers right into your face. But the minimal detailing going on in here is rather nice. It's nothing initially to write home about because it's just going to act as a little holster for the power beam effect. As far as paint goes, it is all silver, nice and chrome, and very, very shiny. I'm going to give UFO a solid star in terms of paint and detail. Did you know that this thing technically has 3 names? When it's still covered in rock, it's actually known as rock mass, but the 2 other names it has are the ones that Toho kind of uses in variation. It's known as Giant UFO and Millennium UFO. I don't know, I just thought that was interesting. Toho can't decide on names. They don't care. They're a dog. They're biting fart bubbles in the bathtub. They'll call this thing Athletic Supporter UFO before we get an official thing out of them. But I guess in that same breath, we can say that this thing has 2 official names. So there we go. Yeah. Taking a look at the blast effect over here, we have this very nice swirly detail encompassing it. The collision detail at the base over here is very nice. It gets the point across. And since this is a nice flat surface, you can just stand it up just like that if you don't have any room to, you know, pose the UFO with this sticking out of it. But anyway, we're going to take our UFO, we're going to hold it like so, bars, and we're just going to insert this into there. It'll stop, and boom, that just looks so cool. I mean, if SH Monster Arts were to ever do an Orga morphological change set or whatever, this needs to be a part of it. Honestly, the blast effect is just the ultimate icing on the cake. I really do need to find a stand so I can display it just like this, because this is how it should be. But all the stands I do have really don't do this setup justice, so I'm just going to have to wait and see what I can find. But basically, the application is super easy. It stays in there nice and flush. I wouldn't recommend waving this around while this is in here, because while it does fit in there really, really nicely, it does wobble a tad, and you know, you don't want to risk breaking this thing. So as far as this blast effect goes, I'm going to give it 2 solid stars. It looks cool, it's applied very easily, it stays in there, and the details are nice too. Plus, you know, not for nothing, this is a lot bigger than I was expecting it to be. So it's going to have presence next to my Orgas. And now we can finally talk about the Millennian, which ever since I was a kid, I've wanted a figure of this guy. I've loved this design since then, and I could never really put my finger on it. Even as a kid, this design felt super similar. And even today, it just... where have I seen this before? Alright. I don't know if it's 100% confirmed that Toho were very much inspired by that of Independence Day, but just the fact that it is confirmed that Orga's head was essentially modeled after TriStar Godzilla for the sole reason of seeing Japanese Godzilla defeat the American Godzilla before, you know, Final Wars. I don't doubt for a second that Toho designed the Millennian after the Independence Day harvester aliens. It's even funnier that Godzilla blows its friggin' head off. What I love very much about this design is just how simple it is. You really don't need to do much to make the Millennian look like the Millennian. which makes me all the more confused as to why Toho and Bandai haven't really been pumping stuff like this out. Maybe it's just because of the design's origin. Maybe Toho feel guilty about that. Yeah, somehow I kind of doubt that last part. Toho doesn't really come off as the guilty type. But maybe just due to the fact that the design was inspired by somebody that they don't like and made as a slight, maybe that's why we're not seeing many official releases of this thing. But anyway, old Millennian boy is going to be absolutely outfitted in this beautiful metallic blue paint that will catch the light no matter the angle. He's going to have beautiful darker blue metallic eyes with red all along the eyes and the mouth area over here. And this just absolutely works. It really does, and it brings out all the little and tiny minute details for the mouth. Speaking of which, I'm surprised just how much detail this thing has. I mean, yeah, it's all mostly under the head and such, but it still looks good where you can find it. No detail at the center over here, but even the little fingies over here, they look just like they did in the movie. They curve and rest in the entirely right position. Man, CloakingArbiter, you put work into this thing. And I love it, I love it, I love it. Somebody's got to do what Bandai chooses not to. I'm still of the belief that this guy's head looks like a deformed ravioli, though. Yes, I have to inject my culture into everything. But once again, I am so very happy with this piece. I'm so very happy just to own a Millennian figure at this point. Official or not, this thing has been on my list for a very, very long time. I'll try and say this in the most unbiased way possible. CloakingArbiter, you're an absolute savior. I'm definitely going to be buying from you again, and you all should too, because look at all these amazing figures that this dude makes. And you know, I feel like I'm almost doing him a disservice because these characters, this beam effect, you know, they're all smooth and everything. But take a look at his Doug, take a look at his Destroyer Crab, take a look at his Jinsen Mushi or Muto Prime, whatever its friggin' name is. Just very beautifully done, and I'm assuming that these are hand painted. Correct me if I'm wrong there, CloakingArbiter. The man's got quality in his name because there's quality in his service. What more can I say? I mean, the guy is essentially gifting us monsters as figures that nobody's made before. And if they have been made before, they were made in very limited quantities and are very hard to find these days, or they're extremely expensive. Here, you're paying 30 to 50 bucks. Worth it. I mean, just look at the Millennian and the UFO overall. They've been around for what, 24 years now? 23? 24 years since it came out in 1999. The UFO just recently got 3 new pieces of it made by Cast. We have the rock mass version, the exploded version, and the whole version. And Cast even went ahead and made a Millennian diorama figure thing. It looks awesome. I want it so bad, but they're so hard to find and they're so expensive. X Plus, as of recently, finally gave us an X Plus Orga, which I believe was sculpted by Dope Pope. And if you got the Rick version of that X Plus release, you got a friggin' Millennian figure. He's translucent blue vinyl. That's cool. X Plus Defo Reel would also give us a new Millennian figure with the Rick version of the Defo Reel Orga release. And as far as I can find, I am not saying this is definitive, but I was skulking around Toho Kingdom not too long ago. Love you guys. And somebody actually posted pictures of what looks like candy toys of the Millennian and the UFO. Here's the entirety of the original post with a higher quality version of the picture, and translucent blue Millennian, translucent blue UFO. Where, how, when, can, like, what? I want these figures so bad. I want more Millennian and UFO in my life. The sad thing is this little set of 3 tiny candy figures are probably more expensive than tracking down a Cast. In case I forgot the rating, I'm pretty sure I did. The Millennian's gonna get 2 solid stars for paint and detail. Hey, yo, CloakingArbiter, can you do this in translucent resin? Is that possible? Now, unfortunately, since the Millennian was portrayed entirely in CG and there was never any physical props made, there's really not too much I can do but compare this to screenshots and concept art and this singular pixel-ass image from Godzilla Save the Earth. While I understand why Toho decided to go full CGI for this instead of rod puppet or whatever, it is pretty unfortunate that no physical prop of this exists. But since this monster was strictly CGI, you'd think it'd be a lot easier to produce merchandising out of it. For the most part though, I'm pretty confident in saying that CloakingArbiter is pretty on task here. Every little bit of supplementary material, even some screenshots I can find of this guy, really does add up to the figure that he produced. I mean, obviously we're not going to be one-to-one since this was a CGI modeled jellyfish and he had this weird clear aura around his skin and everything. But I'd say this is pretty damned fantastic. From the tip of his deformed ravioli-ass head all the way down to those toes, the Cloaking Arbiter Millennian is fantastic. Thankfully, the UFO is a completely different beast in that regard because there actually was a physical prop made for this thing. And for the most part, I would definitely say this is very, very spot on. From the shapes to the underside detail to the nasal passage cannon on its side, Cloaking Arbiter absolutely cooked. And thankfully with this piece of material, we can really get a good look at the entirety of the prop, and once again, very much on point. From the bottom to even the backside, it's crazy how well this was done. And I don't mean to continuously keep singing praises here, but it's really hard not to, especially when the final product just looks this good. Between the two, I'd absolutely say my money was 100% well spent. They look great by themselves and together, and okay, maybe I'm just using this portion of the video just to continue talking about these things because I love them so much, I really do. When the official companies can't do it, like I said, turn to the fans. CCP Godzilla 2000, Bandai Sound Battler Set Godzilla 2000, Bandai Toho Kaiju Series Godzilla 2000, Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla 2000, Bandai Toho Kaiju Series Orga, Bandai Sound Battler Set Orga. And here we have the whole family together, all of my Godzilla 2000 Orga related pieces. They might not be official, and we may never get officially made Millennian and UFO vinyl figures in the modern day Movie Monster series, but just having all of these figures together, it warms my heart something fierce. Cloaking Arbiter, I absolutely appreciate you, what you're doing. I hope you do even more. I really do. I will be there to support you. And all of you watching out there, there will be a link to his Etsy shop and his link tree down in the comment section and description below, so you can see what Cloaking Arbiter is going to get up to next and what he has in stock. Seriously, go check it out. He's not paying me to say this or nothing. I'm so in love with these figures and what this dude is doing. It's just, please, give this man some money. Lots of money. But anyway, I have been ShinRobjira. I do so hope you all enjoyed this review. Please be sure to check out my social media, including my Patreon, $1 a month, access to everything, early content, all of that. And when next we meet, we'll be talking about another alien. Just not a Godzilla alien. Oh boy. See you then.
I need more Sequoia Banshee boogers.